So this is trig identity still. I don't know if this is day 6, I think it is, but we'll call this day 1 of trig identities 2, part 2. We took our quiz on the Pythagorean identities, the very general identities, the big 3, the little 3, co-functions, and the addition-subtraction formulas. Now we're going to do double angle formulas today. Potentially go into the half angle formulas as well. So, you come across a problem that might be of something that is sine of 2x. You can actually split it to 2 sine x cosine x. It doesn't matter what x is, you can split it. So if it was a sine of 60, 60 is 2 times 30. So you can say it's 2 times sine of 30 cosine 30. Cosine also has options to split a double angle. You have 3 options. Each one of those is equal to cosine of 2x. And if you actually took the time and looked at these 3, these 3 here, if you use the Pythagorean identities and you switch them out, you can actually build the other 2, or all 3 from one of the options. And tangent does as well. 2 tangent x, 1 minus tangent squared x. Okay? So we're going to use these on our examples next. So the first problem we are going to do, and I took the liberty of adding tangent of 2x to the end of it, is that we're going to use the double angle formulas. What if cosine itself, cosine of x, is equal to a negative 2/3? You're in quadrant 2, because if you remember, cosine is negative in 2 different quadrants. Quadrants 2 and quadrants 3. So it's telling you have to be a negative quadrant, which is 2 or 3, but it's telling you it's in 2. I would like you to find cosine of 2x. So what happens if I double the angle? Double x. Sine of 2x and tangent of 2x. These are actually pretty easy. What I'm going to tell you guys to do is I'm going to tell you that you will this is what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to create the axes and draw your triangle that would include a cosine value of negative 2/3. Well, it's telling you that it has a ratio that is negative 2/3 in the second quadrant, which means I'm going to graph it in the second quadrant. That means this is x. That's the angle. Theta sometimes it's x. That x has a ratio of, a cosine ratio, of a negative 2/3. What is cosine again? What's cosine? So, ka, toa. So, ka. Adjacent over hypotenuse. Which means it's negative 2 over 3. The question is, can you guys finish off this triangle? Using?
One formula?
Yeah, what formula?
Would it be cosine?
No.
No. Then it'd be sine. We have 2 sides. What?
Pythagorean's theorem allows us to solve for the third side of a triangle, of a right triangle. So, a is like negative 2, so negative 2 squared plus, we'll call it b because I don't know what it is for that second side, would equal 3 squared. What's negative 2 squared?
4.
So 4 plus b squared is equal to 9. b squared equals 5. Have to take the square root, so b is the square root of 5. Did everybody follow how I found the third side of the triangle? Now, that should be the toughest part about this whole entire problem. Or one of the toughest parts. Maybe after we put it all together. It might get a little crazy. But that sets it up. Now what you need to do is you need to list. What's sine of 2x, guys? I don't know what sine of 2x is. I only know what sine of x is. Because I can go back to that triangle. I can tell you sine, cosine, or tangent of x. But not 2x. So in this case, I'm going to take the formula and I'm going to write down its expanded version. What's sine of 2x expanded? 2 sine x cosine x. Can you fill in sine of x and cosine of x ratios? I would hope so. What is sine of x? Going up to the triangle. Sine is opposite of hypotenuse, which is square root of 5 over 3. What's the cosine of x? Actually, they gave it to us, didn't they? Negative 2/3. Well, positive, positive, negative makes a negative. The 2 way up front is really a fraction of 2 over 1. So the 2 goes to the top, gets multiplied by the square root of 5, and then gets multiplied by another 2, because we already took the negative out. So what's 2 times square root of 5? 4 square root of 5. And what's 3 times 3?
No.
And your answer is negative 4 square root of 5 over 9. Next, we have to do cosine 2x. Now remember, cosine 2x has 3 versions to it. Let's go back and look at those. Which one of those 3 looks like possibly the easiest one to do? I think that one of the bottom 2 would probably be the easiest. Some people are saying the second one. I'm actually going to vouch for this third option. The one on the bottom. The reason is, what function was given to us? Cosine. If I use any other function, I have to use some number that I created on that triangle. Wouldn't you guys rather use numbers that we know for sure work or are there than numbers that we found? It gives you a better chances of success. Bless you. So, it's going to be 2 cosine squared minus 1. So, 2 cosine squared x minus 1. And now, play coach. Substitute it in. What's cosine x? Negative 2 over 3. What comes first? Multiplying by 2 or squaring? Squaring. You square a negative, it becomes? And how do you square a fraction? Top squared, bottom squared. What's 2 squared?
4.
Bottom squared?
9.
2 times 4 ninths is 8 ninths. I could subtract 1, but 1, if I wanted to get a common denominator, would actually become minus 9 over 9. And so, yeah?
Negative 1 over 9.
Negative 1 over 9. Done. So cosine 2x is probably the only one that's going to make you have to make a choice. all three of those choices would still lead you to a negative 1/9. The last one is tangent, 2x. Tangent of 2x, rolling backwards here. 2 tangent of x, 1 minus tangent squared x. So the answer we should have is 2 tangent of x over 1 minus, is it tangent squared? X. And again, you play coach, you substitute in the right pieces at the right time. So it's 2 times some ratio, 1 minus a ratio squared. What is the tangent of x? Opposite over adjacent, so which is square root of 5 over negative 2. Square root of 5 over negative 2. What's going to happen with the 2's on the top? Leaving you with a negative square root of 5. When I square the fraction becomes positive, yes? Yeah. But there's a negative outside of that, so it still stays negative. So it's still 1 minus, but what is it going to be minus?
5 over negative 4. Throw any positives?
What is it? It's 4.
4, yeah.
Because it's negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Wait a minute. That 1, to get a common denominator, needs to be what?
4 over 4.
4 over 4. So 4 over 4 minus 5 over 4. So it'd be a negative square root of 5 over negative 1 over 4. Ooh, what's negative divided by negative?
Positive.
So this makes it go away. But now I have a complex fraction, yeah? How am I going to deal with that? You divide by a fraction, you flip and? So isn't that the square root of 5 times 4 over 1, which is 4 square root 5? Done. So that comes down to knowing your algebra. So the first hardest thing to do is set up your triangle in the right place and finish the triangle off. And then, using substitution, expand what sine of x, cosine of x, and tangent of 2x is, and write down and substitute their ratios in so you can evaluate. Homework on worksheet 4 should be problem 1, problem 2, and problem 5. Have a great day.